Hey fam, I hope you're doing fine. Welcome to yet another episode of the Evolve with Intent podcast. I cannot express how grateful I am that you're here with me again in another episode. A lot of you had reached out, texted, met me and asked when am I releasing another episode, and I just want to say I am sorry. Life is busy, a lot is happening most of the times, and my plate is like full. I'm like chasing this and that, and sitting down to do these episodes or even nail down a guest to come on here and sit and have these conversations can be a tricky thing to pull around, but I appreciate your patience, and I am really looking forward to today's episode. And yeah, I think let's just get right into it. So, in my day-to-day life, while I do what I do, I tend to consume a lot of other people's content. So I'm either listening to a podcast or reading a book or reading someone's tweets or posts on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or wherever. I mean, of course, things that I'm interested in, yeah. I landed on a video, I think, about, 2-3 months ago. And I remember bookmarking it because I thought it was so intriguing. It was so thought-provoking that I thought, okay. And then I think about a week ago, I was going through my bookmarks and I landed on that video again. And I thought to myself, wow, like I don't think it actually made that much sense the first time I watched it, the way it did the second time I watched it. And I mean, I'll just play for you guys so you hear what's in this video. And whatever is in that video is the entire reason we are having this episode today.
I robbed some women of their baby making years, dragging them along. They built me up. Look at me now. And look at them. If you were creative, I folded you into my artwork. If you were in my artwork, I gave you a job. I gave you a job. I mastered your life. I gave you a house, food, everything you needed. I protected and provided for you. I did what men are supposed to do. You know, I remember different quotes I said, just really manipulative things to say, no one's gonna love you the way I do. My God, I'm ashamed of it. And that's what makes me angry when I see my brothers do that. We can't do that to the women that have done so much for us to even exist. And I saw myself for the first time. All the things I'm saying now, horror. Bit by bit, I stripped myself of my former self. And I swore that the next relationship that I would get in, I would work as hard at love as I worked in my career.
Now, the person speaking is Jed Dana. He's an artist. I'm sure you if you're into secular music, this is someone whose voice you do recognize. And I want you to think of what he says in there as an allegory, which brings us to today's episode. Stop spending the best years of your life with the wrong people in the wrong places doing the wrong things. And I know what you're thinking right now. You must be wondering, what are the actual best years of my life? Now, for me, I like to believe, that the best years of your life are the ones where you're in best health. You don't have diseases, you have full body energy, you're so full of life, your mind is like fresh, less stress, less responsibilities. You could decide to sleep in today and no, I believe those are like your actual best years of your life. And those are your 20s. But now the sad reality is that a lot of us spend those years in the wrong places, really, with the wrong people, doing the wrong things that won't even reflect back on your life in 5 years to come and say, oh yeah, I did spend my time here and this did pay off. Very few people are that intentional in their 20s, and that's the entire reason I wanted us to have this episode today. As you go through life, as you go through your 20s, please try as much as you can to tame yourself, to at least spend your time, at least with the right people, for starters. Or while you do the right things that will maybe, if you looked back in 5 years, you'd be like, yeah, I'm glad I was in this place 5 years ago. I'm glad I did this thing 5 years ago. And I'm glad I met this person 5 years ago. Now, while we're at it here, I'm taken back to the time in high school when my friends, day schoolers, would come in during the weekend with a mobile phone, and I would be so carried away, my God, like so carried away to just own a phone. Like in those moments in my mind, I'm like, my God, I would do anything to own a phone. And now that I think about it, thanks to the curfew my school had and probably the fear that my parents had instilled in me, of course, I didn't manage to get a phone. And then, of course, you're a child. I mean, what do you know? You just... But now that we're in our 20s, we're adults. We're aware of our actions and how they have consequences. So while we go on to do what we do, when I look back at where I was, the things I did, the people I was with 5 years ago and where I'm at right now, I honestly can't say that I don't have regrets. Truly. The things, of course, that do happen around you, life path, and you do regret. But the bright side about life and growing is that it's always a learning curve if you are open to it. So when I heard what Jadena was sharing in that video, clearly he was sharing from a place of reflection. He's in a better place now. He knows he could have done better. And whatever he shares. And that's why I say this is an allegory. It's not entirely about relationships or the men you date or sleep with or the man you marry or the woman you marry, or it's a general life thing. You need to reflect on where you are right now. Is it at any one point 5 years from now going to have a positive effect on you? Like wherever you are at now, if it's a workplace, if it's a relationship, if it's a friendship with your friends, if it's the food you're eating, if it's the drinks you're taking in, if it's are you doing something to, let's say, look back on 5 years later and say, oh yeah, I was with the right crowd. I did the right thing. It was the right person. And if there is an ounce of uncertainty in there, while you ask yourself that question, I suggest you find the guts to make a difference, because I don't think there is a thing as painful as regret, knowing that you gave this place your best, knowing that you spent your youth years eating terrible meals, and now you probably come up with a disease, or now you have ulcers, or like we go through our 20s very carelessly. We do like a lot of ridiculous things. We're drinking, we're smoking, we're sleeping out, we're sleeping with whoever. Like you think it's Emiaka Jejo. Sorry, to me, it's the time to do these things. I mean, it is the time, but also these things eventually bite back. So I just wanted to come on here and put it into our minds today. For each one of us, at whatever point you are today, they say the best is yet to come, but all we know really is right now. I am recording this episode right now. Tomorrow is not promised for me, and neither is it for you. So yes, it's okay for you to argue and say the best days of your life could be right now. Yes, that's totally true. But for you to actually make the best of you tomorrow is if you go through today the best way possible. That means you lay plans for tomorrow, and the only way you make the best out of tomorrow by making best plans for today is if you're intentional about it. So I am here. Do I want to be here? Is this in any way impacting me? If it's not, you don't have any reason to be there. You don't have any reason to go all out, shedding off the Baganda Sekwe Malamu. Like you don't have a reason to go all out in your life. like that, yet life has so much to offer you. And when I say life has so much to offer you, I believe that in my bones. I don't know where I got that faith from. I don't know if it's a calling from God, but I tend to believe that life has so much to offer you. So usually we live in the fear, we live in the bubble, the shell that, oh, this is all life has to give me, or this is the best I've seen. And then you kind of like sell yourself short, really. Yeah, it kind of keeps you in that playing safe. You're not content, you're not fully happy, but like, this is it. But honestly, if you're a young person in your 20s and you're doing the right thing and you're doing right by people and you're praying and you're growing and you're learning, I promise you life has so much to offer you. So as you go through life and evolve and learn and unlearn old habits and remold and shed off old versions of yourself, as you navigate your 20s, really, at jobs, at relationships, at men, at friendships, at food, hair, everything in between there, family, careers, whatever it is you juggling right now, I hope you know that the best is yet to come. I hope you don't live like life for some reason stops at 26, because your life is short, but also life is really, really long. So at whatever point you are right now, or whatever you're doing with your life right now, I hope you're not spending the best years of your freaking life with the wrong people, in the wrong places, doing the wrong things. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.